This is a Walt Disney original little long-playing record, and I am your Disneyland story reader. I am going to begin now to read the story of Black Beauty. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when Tinker Bell rings her little bells like this. Let's begin now. When I was a very young colt, I lived on my mother's milk. In the daytime I ran in the meadow by her side, and at night I laid down close by her. Soon I was old enough to eat grass like all the other horses. As time went on, my coat grew fine and soft and was shiny black. I had one white foot and a white star on my forehead. When I was 4 years old, it was time for my breaking in. That means to teach a horse to wear a saddle and bridle and to carry a rider on his back. My master's kind words and gentle ways taught me to wear my bit and bridle. Next came the saddle. My master put it on very gently. Finally, he got on my back and rode me around the meadow. I soon became accustomed to it and was rather proud. Then a blacksmith nailed iron shoes to my hoofs. It didn't hurt, but my feet felt very stiff and heavy. A horse never knows who may buy him. It is all a chance. I was most fortunate in my second master, Squire Gordon of Birtwick. It was the squire's wife who named me Black Beauty. It was a good name, and I was determined to live up to it. My life at Squire Gordon's was very pleasant. The squire kept many horses, but my best friend was my neighbour in the next stall, Merrylegs. He was a little fat grey pony with a thick mane and tail. My other good friend was a horse named Ginger. The best days of all at Squire Gordon's were Sundays in the summertime, when we would be turned out into the pasture to do whatever we liked, to gallop or lie down, to roll over on our backs or to nibble the sweet grass. One night I had eaten my hay and was lying down in my straw, fast asleep, when suddenly I heard the squire's voice shouting, "Wake up, Beauty! You must go well now if you ever did. My wife is very ill. You must take me as fast as you can to fetch Dr. White." He was on my back in a minute, and we were off. Now, Beauty, do your best. And do I did. I needed no whip or spur. I galloped as fast as I could lay my feet to the ground. After an 8-mile run, we came to the town. Squire Gordon roused the doctor and said, "My wife is very ill, doctor. You must go to her at once, or I'm afraid she may die." But the doctor replied, "The worst of it is that my horse has been out all day and is quite done up. What is to be done? Can I have your horse?" Then the squire said, "Black Beauty has come at a gallop all the way, and I had hoped to rest him here. But you may take him. He will go till he drops." Our way back was a very hard time, but I did my best, and soon had the doctor at Squire Gordon's house. My legs shook under me, and I steamed all over. The new stable boy did not put my warm blanket on me. He gave me a pail full of cold water to drink. It was exactly the wrong thing to do. Soon I began to shake and tremble and turn deadly cold. My legs ached and I felt sore all over. For the next few days I was very ill. Then the squire came to visit me. "My poor Beauty," he said. "My good horse. You saved your mistress's life, but you almost lost your own." My mistress was never really well again, and the squire had to move to a warmer climate. This meant that all the squire's horses had to be sold. My new home was a grand place in the country. The head groom was a man named Reuben Smith. It was his doing that led me into great misfortune. One day he rode me into town and went drinking in the taverns. When he returned to me, he didn't notice I had a loose nail in one of my front shoes, and so off we went for home at a gallop. Going full speed over the stony roads caused my shoe to become loose. Finally, it came off. Then I stumbled and fell with violence on both my knees. Reuben Smith was flung off and killed. When my knees were sufficiently healed, I was turned into a small meadow for a month of rest. One day my master came to examine me. "This horse is ruined," said my master. "We will have to sell him at the horse fair." At the horse fair near London, I was bought by a gentle, small man. His name was Jerry Barker, a London cabby. Life in the great city of London as a cab horse was very exciting for me. Jerry was a good driver, and soon he and I understood each other as well as horse and man can do. It was hard work, but I didn't mind it. It was summer when I first came to London, and when winter came on, Jerry grew sickly. Then a bad thing happened on Christmas Day. We took a gentleman and his lady to a party and waited to return them to their home. It was a long wait in a bitter cold. Jerry and I were half frozen. By the time we got home, Jerry was very ill. He was in bed for 2 weeks and almost died. When he recovered, the doctor said he must give up his cab and move to the country. So it was another sad parting for me. I was sold to a corn dealer and driven by the foreman, who was a cruel man, always whipping and overloading the horses. The overloading was hard on me, as I was now an old horse, not at all the strong black beauty of my youth. One day my load was heavier than usual, and part of the road was steep uphill. I used all my strength, but was obliged continually to stop. The foreman laid his whip on. I struggled to keep going, but then my feet slipped and I fell heavily to the ground on my side. This made the foreman more furious. He laid the whip on, shouting, "Get up! Get up!" As I struggled to regain my feet, I heard a lady say, "Please, please, do not whip your horse any more." There were 2 ladies, and they came over and stroked my head. They were very angry at the foreman. As I looked at the ladies, they seemed somehow familiar to me, and in a flash I realized it was Miss Jessie and Miss Flora, daughters of Squire Gordon. As they petted me, they recognized my markings. "Black Beauty," they said. "What a way to find you." Together we all went back to the corn dealer, and Miss Jessie and Miss Flora bought me from him. So it was I came back to my old home at Birtwick. I have now lived in this happy place for a year since my return. My work is easy and pleasant. I often stand under the trees in the orchard, as I used to, and imagine that my old friends are there with me. 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 Friends are there.
Black Beauty, in the wind and the rain. Black Beauty, knew the meaning of pain. When it came to his duty, he knew what it should be. Black Beauty, had a right to be free. would soon. So through the wind and on the rain, he ran to the doctors and back again. Throughout his life it was very sad. He had several masters and some were bad. Then came a man who finally took pity and put him to work in London City. Black Beauty, in the wind and the rain. Black Beauty, knew the meaning of pain. When it came to his duty, he knew what it should be. Black Beauty, had a right to be free. To be free. Dressed in pearls from head to toe, see them dancing to and fro. Knees up, knees up, knees up high. Gotta keep your knees up in the sky. Round and round the Pearlies go, with their partners step and toe. Diddle 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 die. It's the Pearlies all a die. Years ago on London's docks, a freighter crashed amongst the rocks. Amid the waves and all the swirl were thousands of buttons made of pearls. A costermonger saw them there, and he decided they were meant to wear. Many others did the same, and that's how the Pearlies got their name. Dressed in pearls from head to toe, see them dancing to and fro. Knees up, knees up, knees up high. Gotta keep your knees up in the sky. Round and round the Pearlies go, with their partners step and toe. Diddle 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 die. It's the Pearlies all a die. Every year down Hampstead Way, they celebrate their holiday. For miles and miles they come around, from east and south of London town. Although they need to celebrate, they're also there to nominate a Pearly king, a Pearly queen, the likes of which you've never seen. Dressed in pearls from head to toe, see them dancing to and fro. Knees up, knees up, knees up high. Gotta keep your knees up in the sky. Round and round the Pearlies go, with their partners step and toe. Diddle 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 die. It's the Pearlies all a die. Knees up high, gotta keep your knees up in the sky. Round and round the Pearlies go, with their partners step and toe. Diddle 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 die. It's the Pearlies all a die.
This has been a production by Ryan Alexander, aka Old Music on Vinyl 1. If you like my videos, please subscribe now.